Hey guys, and welcome to Resident Evil 7 Survival Mode playthrough. The instructional video should help you with understanding how this works, how best to avoid certain enemy attacks, and how to do certain things specifically to aid you in getting the higher level maximum rewards per playthrough. As some of you might know, you have to do multiple playthroughs in order to lock the higher rewards, which will definitely help you on doing the hardest difficulty. I don't know if you can see video on this, because, again, for some reason, it doesn't always work with certain things. But basically, right off the bat, if you've gotten up to the upgrades where you get starting scrap increased to the point where you get 1500 grand, you immediately want to grab the first corrosive and open the door to the first door that's closest to the spawn, to the starting spawn. This allows you to generate more scrap because the scrap generation increases as you go on before upgrades. Like, if you don't have them, the sooner you have them started, the more scrap you generate, the faster you get upgrades and stuff, and the greater overall score you'll get. Also, you only want to grab the knife. You don't want to grab any other starting weapons initially. It doesn't work well. It works, but the knife is really all you need for most initial enemies. You can also grab 200 scrap and grab a handgun as a side, especially, but you really don't need it. I always grab it just in case I run into those four-leggeds, because the four-leggeds are the only time I really spend ammo. All the regular ones are slow enough, and there's ways to avoid them. It just basically run around with the knife and look at which way they're going to swing, duck, and move in the direction that they're going to swing. If they do the double attack, where they have both arms and they tilt back as if they're going to attack you with both, and which usually triggers like they bite your hand and resistance. All you got to do is just duck. They can't hit you with that if you duck. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter any other things, so if you see one of those doing it, duck. They won't get you in that resistance thing, because they do a lot of damage if they do that arm bite sequence deal. Basically, for the first wave, all I do is go around and collect stuff and get and knife things. If you take too much damage, heal yourself. But your score for each wave is attributed by a number of things, mainly how much you kill, but your overall score will be attributed by how much scrap you have accumulated on the last wave and have in your inventory. So the first upgrade, per se, you want to save up for is the knife upgrade. Just because, again, the knife doesn't require any sort of ammunition, and believe it or not, ammunition is more expensive than health potions and upgrades, or herbs, or whatever you want to call them, first aid kits. There we go. So what I do as soon as possible is put a health upgrade in, which is only like 100 scrap, a healing upgrade, a melee upgrade, and then whatever point, and if you have a few more points to spare, put it into another health upgrade, and maybe another first aid kit. And if after all that you still have like 50 scrap, buy a grenade launcher. A grenade launcher is only 50 scrap. It's very useful at damaging the harder difficulty enemies. Not so much useful against Jack, but it's more useful against the pukers, as I like to call them. Heavy set zombies. They puke liquid acid at you. Yeah, they're by far more annoying, I think, than the four-leggeds if you don't know how to deal with the four-leggeds. The four-leggeds can be pretty annoying if you don't know how to deal with them. But there's a tick and trip. That's also the reason why you grab the grenade launcher, because the four-leggeds actually take more damage from the grenade launcher than any other weapon. I mean, you can use the handgun if you're a good shot, but if you're not, the grenade launcher is your best bet for dealing with the four-leggeds and the pukers. Like I said, for this entire first wave, as it were. I am relying solely on the knife. I am not using any other weapon. And just telegraphing your moves and avoiding stuff as needed, healing as needed. It really doesn't matter, like, if you hold the aim button, it does give you a little bit more damage with the melee, but it really doesn't matter in general. Otherwise, your normal slash will is faster, and there's sort of a recharge time on that. So you want to try mixing both your slash and your prime and that aim sequence, but you gotta stagger them first before I'd use that coup. It's like the coup de grace in the previous Resident Evils. It's very, very similar in that theme and style. The only real weapons you need are the knife, the handgun, the grenade launcher, and if you've unlocked it, the Magnum. You won't have the ability to purchase the Magnum right off the bat. It is a weapon. You should always want at least 3. You want to try and keep 3 on hand at all time of the first aid kits, seeing as you'll need it. I'd also at this point, before the end of the first wave, buy if you have it unlocked, buy the adrenaline package, which you don't really get it until like after a few playthroughs maybe. Sorry, I'm dealing with a lot of four-leggeds at the moment with a knife. Which actually, they don't have as, like the tricks and tutorials say, they don't have much health. You can deal with them with a knife, it's just very annoying, and it's easier to deal with them with a pistol or a grenade launcher. Because if you get them all clustered together, one grenade launcher will kill most of them. Like if you have 3, it'll kill 2 out of the 3, typically. So I've completed the first wave. Now at this point, before you have to deal with Jack, I would definitely buy the Magnum if you have it. If not, I'd buy additional flame rounds. Maybe even substitute the Magnum for something else, like say the shotgun. Basically what the Magnum does is it staggers him and does ridiculous amounts of damage. So the more damage you're doing to him, the better. Not only would I buy the Magnum, I would also buy ammunition packs for it if you can. Again, that's it for those of you who have unlocked it. So that is the easiest weapon to deal with Jack with. Like I said, per Resident Evil tradition, the only weapon you need to deal with regular weapons is the knife. I mean, it wasn't as it might not have been as effective depending upon what you did in 1 and 2 and 3, but the knife has traditionally, from like 4 on, been an integral part. Useful, I would say. If you're in a pinch. But in this mode, again, where you have to buy ammunition, and ammunition that you buy increases exponentially, it's not advisable to use ammunition when you can use a knife. That doesn't cost money to buy ammunition for. You don't have to buy anything other than health upgrades, health and melee damage upgrades. And like I said, you probably don't even need the handgun. The handgun, it's useful in a pinch, but the melee, if you upgrade it, which I would definitely, if you can afford if you have the Magnum and you can upgrade the melee, go right ahead. I mean, it's all up to you what you want to do with it. Also, if you've unlocked the neuro rounds are extremely effective when dealing with the forelegs, because like 2 of them will kill. 2 neuro rounds will kill those forelegs pretty quick. Or at least you can fire 1 and then that stuns them and slows them down enough for you to get a few good knife swings in. It's really up to you how you want to do that. I'm just here to provide you with the tips and tricks to get the maximum score, because again, part of the cumulative score at the end depends on if you completed it, you can survive the night, it gives you a huge bonus, and how much scrap you have at the end, and how many kills you got throughout the game provide. If you can afford the corrosive, I'd buy the corrosive and unlock your 4th contractor. Then what I'd save points up for is the contractor upgrade, or vice versa. It all really depends. Like the contractor upgrade, I would argue is probably more important, but it's again, it all depends on what you prefer to use. The neuro rounds, believe it or not, work pretty well on Jack, slowing him down, allowing you to get some uninterrupted magnum headshots on him. Just aim for the head. It's a pretty easy way to deal with him. He's pretty fast with this lawnmower axe thing, so yeah, Jack, whatever, screw you. I'm just playing ring around the merry-go-round in the kitchen-like area. I wouldn't recommend, again, getting anywhere near him, since he does deal a lot of damage, and that's first aid you have to buy to replace it. He's also pretty fast, so in this mode, he'll catch up to you almost immediately. So, I would advise, again, keeping my distance again on this first one, and just pummeling him with as much damage as possible. Alright, and Jack's down. I think, to a degree, there might be a multiplier for killing him faster, but I'm not entirely certain on that. Again, it's all mostly, it doesn't really matter until you get to the final wave anyhow. So now we're on the 3rd wave, I believe. You've killed Jack. From here on out until the final wave, you will not be dealing with Jack. You will be dealing with a whole bunch of pukers, regular enemies, and right now I have like 255 scrap, and that's cumulative from both the end reward from that last mission and from the scrap I'm picking up. At this point, I'm going to definitely shove in a compactor upgrade and spend the rest of my money on first aid, magnum ammo, and that's about it, because the magnum ammo, you want at least a couple rounds of magnum ammo towards the very end. And like I said, the handgun's more of a backup tool than for the melee than it is your primary weapon, because the knife... Alright. Another thing I'd definitely point out is there are some that look like regular enemies with the arms. I like to call the axe, I guess we could call them the arm molded. I don't know what they're specifically called, but they've got like a special or almost black arm. You cannot avoid taking damage from that arm save through guarding. Like if they raise that arm or they look like they're going to swing with you that arm, just guard, because they'll hit you even if you crouch and aim aside. Whereas with the regular arms, you can avoid those. I would definitely recommend guarding. Guarding is understanding when to guard and how to guard is a crucial part of the system. The default control, I believe, is L1 on PlayStation 4, which is what I play on primarily. Again, continue to use your knife on the regular molded. Duck when they do the two-hand attack. Aim for the limbs, because that's one less weapon they can swing at you. And then focus on the head. Primarily just swing towards the upper body. You'll hit something and it'll only take a few more swings. What you want to focus on before the end of this wave is grenade launcher ammo. Grenade launcher ammo, health upgrades. If you can max out your melee, I recommend doing so. The max after the max melee upgrades like 1500 scrap. It is worth the upgrade. It will kill most four-leggeds in a couple 2 to 3 swings, roughly, as long as you're getting it towards the head part. It kills things faster. Basically, that's what the upgrade for it does. And again, I definitely focus on grenade launcher ammo and contractor upgrades, because the more contractor upgrades you put into it, and they do get progressively more expensive. I think the second upgrade after the first one is like 4,000 scrap. But it's worth it. It really is. Because it increases the amount of scrap all your contractors produce per second. It increases their max capacity. It increases a lot of things. That makes it considerably useful. And just keep using your knife. I wouldn't focus on buying ammo per se until it gives you the warning, defeat all enemies. I'd hang on to as much scrap as possible until that point, and then, depending upon where you're at, health and whatnot wise, of course, would obviously be the definitive factor in what you need, but you want, ideally, at least a couple clips of the flame rounds. And you want, and even if you want to put a grenade launcher upgrade into it, it really doesn't matter at this point, as long as you have the ammunition to really do the damage you need to do to the pukers in this wave. Because the pukers are primarily this wave. I wouldn't use Magnum on the pukers unless you're in a real tight pinch and you can't get out of the way. That's the only time I'd really use. Because Magnum ammo gets really pricey. You should only need to buy at least 3 rounds at most of the Magnum. You really should, if you're a decent shot. If not, again, there's always the grenade launcher, which you can upgrade get more pricier. It's probably more pricey than just using the Magnum, but again, it requires less aim, so there are advantages to everything you do. And also, the more enemies you defeat on these waves gives you a cumulative bonus. It's not just how many enemies you defeat, it's a type of enemies you defeat. The pukers, I would try and get behind solid objects like pillars and stuff. Generally don't work well against protecting you against their projectile vomit, which is the only word I can think to use for it. But honestly, the best way to deal with it is put distance between yourself and the puker and get a solid wall between them. At this point, it'll also probably spawn a lot of the black arms. Again, remember, you can deal with the black arms multiple ways. Just avoid their guard when they use their non-regular, their special arm, and you should be alright. There shouldn't be too much of an issue. At this point, I've maxed out all my health upgrades, and I have 2 first aid meds, a clip of fire rounds for my grenade launcher, a clip of Magnum rounds, a clip of regular pistol ammo, enhanced pistol ammo. But again, I'm going to focus mostly on using the grenade launcher to deal with this guy, because that's something most people starting out have. And if you use the grenade launcher, you want the grenade ideally to aim for the upper torso. It will knock him over, which leaves him vulnerable for follow-up shots with other things, or gives you time to reload your grenade launcher, whatever. And off that, I got like an 11,000 kill bonus. Each enemy you kill is I guess roughly 100 points, I'm guessing. The pukers might be worth a little bit more, like 150, I don't know. But I know that for that, I killed I killed maybe 10 of those, so I don't know. I think it killed closer to 9 of the regular molded creatures, and 1 Peaker. I'm just going around collecting all of my contractor stuff. At this point, what you really want to save up for, I feel, is the next compactor upgrade, because it's 40,000 in scrap. The honest truth is, it's additional scrap income, which counts towards the very end, because the sooner you get all your the 2 upgrades in, which is all I've ever put in. I never put in more than that, because the next upgrade I think is, I don't know if there is another upgrade, to be honest. There probably is, but it's probably a ridiculous sum of scrap, which would be better put into getting ready to defeat Jack, first aid kits, and whatnot. So again, knife for the regular enemies, trying to anticipate their attacks and dodge. Guard when and where you can. Like I said, a couple swings, 2-3 swings on these 4-legged should kill them. As long as you're avoiding attacks on the regular molded, you shouldn't be taking as much damage. But also a good thing about the knife is it's got an arc to it. So it's got an attack arc to it to begin with, which is extremely useful when dealing with, when you're kind of boxed in. That's why I recommend maxing out your knife upgrade as soon as possible. As soon as you possibly can. It's just generally good. By wave 3, or 4, I guess we're on 4, you just want to collect as much scrap as possible. If you can afford the contractor upgrade, I recommend doing so. It's an increase of scrap. It increases your overall scrap, and just kill as much as you can with the knife, while avoiding taking damage, so you don't have to spend points on health. Because again, spending scrap on health is really going to be a deciding factor. If you're not making the upgrades to generate more scrap, you're missing out on a higher cumulative score. So now I just got enough to increase the contractor rate, which increases 100% more scrap per. It's the second compactor upgrade. It increases your crushing efficiency. It is the max by 100%. There are no contractor upgrades after that. I wasn't certain if there was. There isn't. So now you're producing scrap at the fastest rate, and I'm not even done with the wave. Granted, I only have like 30 scrap, but I've got a grenade launcher and still a clip of magnum ammo. And I've still got like a clip of enhanced and a clip of regular pistol ammo if I need. Which, believe it or not, those enhanced bullets, you can kill a regular enemy in like 2 or 3 shots. And if it wasn't so expensive, I'd probably use it. But again, it would increase right now until you get infinite ammo. Buying ammunition's not advisable, because it takes away from your overall score. And if you get really good with the knife, I mean, not everyone's got their own unique skill level, as it were, in what they can do in eye-to-hand coordination. Once you get really good with the knife, like even the 4-leggeds aren't as bad as a problem. Which is kind of funny, considering the "what the fuck am I supposed to do with a knife" line that Ethan says pretty much at the beginning. because the honest truth is the knife is probably the most useful thing in this particular mode. And it really is. It really, really is. So at this point, I max out my speed upgrade. I put one, and only one, upgrade into the Magnum, because we'll be doing with Jack. And save up for a second clip of... Right now I'm on the kill the remaining of the final enemies. Again, I'm primarily using a knife to kill most of them. I'm dealing with a lot of two-leggeds. Because, again, in my upgrade, I'm killing them in 2 to 3 swings. So, as long as and you can crouch a little with those. That way you get that damage to their head, which gives you a small damage multiplier, which gives you a substantial damage multiplier. I wouldn't say it's a large one, but it's substantial. Also, if you unlock the exploding barrels upgrade, it's very handy in a pinch because now it spawns 2 pukers for this wave instead of just the standard one. I've maxed out my speed, maxed out my contractors, maxed out my melee damage. I haven't focused at all on the pistol. I've got one upgrade in both the grenade launcher and the Magnum. And I've got my health upgrade maxed, my healing upgrade maxed as well. Basically, it's all about the knife. The others are pretty much a waste of ammunition. It's just common sense, I guess. Since it's the only unlimited weapon that you get, and thus save on scrap points. Now the two pukers, you want to try and keep them together as long as possible, because with the flame rounds, they both take damage from those flame rounds, just from them hitting near in their vicinity. If you have to, shoot them a couple times in the head, a few times in the head after using up all your grenade launcher ammunition, and they'll eventually die. And eventually dying is point. So now I'm on the final wave. It is on the 4 AM to 5 wave. At this point, I also have bought a round. I have 2 rounds of Magnum ammo, and I have 2,000 additional scrap in my pocket. I'm gonna try and save that, because the honest truth is, the Magnum ammo is pretty much all I'm going to need to kill Jack. I also have 6 enhanced bullets and 1 full clip of regular and 7 in outside the clip. All my contractors are upgraded, my knife's upgraded to the max, speed, health regen. I still have 3 first aids, and I've got 1 upgrade into both the Magnum and the other. And I haven't used the circular saw, I haven't used the shotgun, I haven't used the machine gun, haven't used the burner, which in my opinion is the worst gun in the game. I'm actually going to buy another Magnum round and a flame round and narrow round, and the reason I'm going to do that is very simple. It's just easier, and then I'm going to hold on to the rest of the scrap. So now I'm at 14,000 scrap, 1,400 scrap, something like that. But again, it's about choosing when you unlock the other compactors and the amount of scrap you generate, getting those upgrades in when and where possible, and always remembering to keep to buy at least when you can, roughly try and keep 3 first aids on it at all time. That healing upgrade also increases the amount each first aid does for you, so you generally will have to use less and less. You want to wait till your screen's just starting to get all red, like you're starting to get that red ring, so because then the next hit's probably going to kill you. You just don't want it to get it too close, because there are certain attacks they can do that are like finishers to generate. I wouldn't focus so much on killing them so much as just grabbing the scrap at this point. I mean, you can. It gives you a better bonus. Again, all you need is this knife for that. Unless you're really bad at damaging these 4-leggeds. with the knife, in which case I'd use the handgun. I mean, if you crouch, and crouching usually gets you a decent glance at their headshot. It only takes a few rounds to the head to really kill them. Try and get pillars and stuff between them, because that'll knock them down. And again, crouching with the knife is the best way to again, damage these things. So now I'm at 30,000 scrap. Jack still hasn't shown up. I'm just slaughtering my way with the knife. And I have one first aid at the moment because I took a lot of damage from one of those. I screwed up. So now Jack has just shown up. I have like 3 clips of ammo, a few clips of special stuff. I mean, 50,000 scrap at the moment. Another thing to consider, too, that might help you with maximum scrap, if you can manage it. Like during the Jack fight, he spawns molded, so you can use that to increase your overall kill count. I mean, if you can get far enough away from him and keep knifing him, you can get to probably still get a higher score. And again, it takes about 40 seconds for those contactors to stop from when it announces that. The neuro rounds are very effective for getting that shot in with the, getting shots in with the Magnum. Again, stay as far away from him. He moves a bit slower in this wave because he's carrying the chainsaw scissors. It's very effective in this case. The neuro rounds, if you have them, if you don't have the Magnum or anything, I'd just pound him with as much fire as you can, as much damage as you can from your other weapons. Again, the grenade launcher is probably the best one for slowing him, both for slowing him down and doing damage if you don't have the Magnum. If you use the neuro rounds, you don't want to stay around until he does like this. I'm like being stuck in like mud or something. As if a person was stuck in mud or something, and it's interesting how it slows him down, which, again, I'd kill as many, if I'd get far enough away if I can, kill as many of the motors you can with the knife, just to chain stuff, and don't spend any scrap. Right now I have 6,000 scrap. He's trying to get me. It's not working well for him. The neuro rounds again, or neuro traps on the floor if you don't have the neuro rounds. They're like 100 scrap each. They're not as effective. Well, they're as effective, I guess, but again, you have to get him to walk into that. And they're only in certain places, so their uses are limited. Like if you get grabbed by the regular molded, well, and they do that mouth sequence, you can still take damage from Jack. You're not invulnerable by any means. So now I've just killed Jack, and I've killed quite a few of all the remaining molded. I have 6,475 scrap. It's 5 AM. My beatdown bonus gives me 8,000 scrap, which is the highest bonus I've had so far using this strategy. I haven't done it. I just literally developed this strategy and felt like I needed to share it. So my overall score for this wave was 309,300 points. That is including the multiplier for the 8,315 scrap, which is multiplied which ends up being like 83,150 points. My kill count was 80, so that adds 71,500 points. And then completing the wave gives me a 2 times multiplier to that, which ends up with your overall score. So your scrap, your kill count, your survival time score multiplier, it all matters. And I just unlocked the ability for strong first aid med. So keep doing this until you, and if you want to do like night terrors, I recommend doing this until you get the infinite ammo, because that would really help you with night terrors. I mean, even still, like getting some of the other rewards and the starting scrap might just help you anyways, because again, you get 2 more. My next one at 2. Your overall score to unlock these rewards is based on how many times you play through. Like each time you play through, it adds whatever score you've gotten per mission. And if you're getting 300,000 at least per mission, your overall score attributes towards the points. They're going to be more. I don't know if you can see this again because it says I'm not on air, but I'm just letting you know. This has been your walkthrough and guide to Resident Evil 7 Nightmare Mode. Thank you and have a nice day.